The Tao is like a well, used but never used up. It is like the eternal void, filled with infinite possibilities. It is hidden but always present. I don't know who gave birth to it. It is older than God. The Tao is like a bellows. It is empty yet infinitely capable. The more you use it, the more it produces. The more you talk of it, the less you understand. The Tao is called the Great Mother, empty yet inexhaustible. It gives birth to infinite worlds. It is always present within you. You can use it any way you want. The Tao is infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born. Thus, it can never die. Why is it infinite? It has no desires for itself. Thus, it is present for all beings. Lao Tzu is talking about something that permeates the whole universe. He's talking about something man cannot see. And yet, he cannot stop longing for it. He cannot stop searching. He cannot stop thinking about it. Because he does not know what that is, he's called it by different names. He searched for it in many ways. He searched for it in people. He searched for it in places. He searched for it in the past. He searched for it in the future. Tao is the very search of man. If you look at the stirring inside man, if you look at the pain, the anguish, if you look at all his troubles, at the center of it will be that not knowing, that ignorance of something that is eternally there, that fills him from inside and out. The only thing that is real. Lao Tzu is talking about that thing that gives birth to everything. He says, it is always there. It is ever present. It was never born. It will never die. It cannot be exhausted. You can use it however you want. You can use it how much ever you want. It still has more to give. He's talking about something that our senses cannot touch, and yet is the answer for all our questions. For a moment, if you can simply assume that something, and then start asking questions about life, and direct all your questions towards that single assumption. There is something permeating the whole of the universe. In fact, universe itself is a tiny part of that thing. He says it is older than God. All discussions end. If something can be older than God, then what is God? In a way, by saying something is older than God, Lao Tzu has totally denigrated God to an ordinary level. Because in human imagination, God is the primary mover, the first creator, the one who created everything. Now, here he says Tao is older than God. And he also says Tao wasn't created. He says, I don't know who created it. All I know it is older than God. He's talking about something that we experience every single moment. It is not far away. It is not completely hidden. It is hidden only to our senses. But it is not hidden to our being. It is not hidden to our essence. In fact, it's abundantly obvious. It is the very thing through which we are moving. It is the very thing through which we are breathing. It is the very thing through which we are seeing. It is the very thing that we are. The reason why we cannot perceive it is because you cannot perceive yourself. You can see your hand because you are not your hand. You are an intelligence more intelligent than your hand. That is why you can see it. Only lower forms of intelligence can be recognized by our senses. Anything that is equal to our level of intelligence or above completely skips our consciousness, because it is in the very nature of things, it is only the highest that can see the lowest. It is only something that is at the level of perception where it can grasp things at a lower level. It cannot grasp itself or anything above it. It is in the very nature of things. Your ability to recognize another individual as intelligent is limited to your level of intelligence. If you are dumb, let's say you know nothing about particle physics. You don't even know what that means. Now, if you happen to meet a particle physicist, would you be able to recognize him as more intelligent than you? The only way you can recognize his intelligence by saying he's doing something that I don't understand, maybe he's intelligent. It is only a guesswork. But you can never recognize his intelligence. Why? Because you cannot recognize it within you. You've not gone deeper into the investigation of what he's doing to understand its value, to understand the significance of that investigation. So you would not associate it with intelligence. Animals can look at human beings, but they don't stop to admire human intelligence. When was the last time an animal stopped to admire what man has created? I've never seen an animal stopping to admire the skyscrapers or all the vehicles he's created. All that we proudly call civilization which is a product of our intelligence, product of the intelligent application of the mind, mean nothing to animals. If we were to assume that all this is a part of our intelligence, at a certain level it is. Without intelligence, you cannot alter your environment. You have to be aware of certain things before manipulating them. The reason human beings are capable of manipulating the environment is because they are capable of seeing things beyond the immediate. They can put together the past, the future, and organize life. That in itself is a form of intelligence. But animals cannot recognize that intelligence because that kind of intelligence is not needed for them. They are living in a more intuitive world where response has to be immediate, in the moment. They can't plan and organize things. So, all of human intelligence is of no use for an animal. It cannot even recognize it. Forget about making use of it. It cannot even see it as intelligence. This is the same relationship between us human beings and nature. Nature is infinitely intelligent. She is brimming with intelligence. She is making decisions. She is thinking. She's acting. She's creating. But for us, she doesn't even exist. We see plants, we see animals, we see the sky, we see the stars, but we don't see her. Why? Because we cannot recognize pure intelligence. It is beyond us. Just like that animal, it can look at our buildings, it can look at all that we have created. At the most, it can recognize, yes, something is happening here. Something is moving, something is changing. I can see that yesterday there was no building here, today there is one. So somebody is doing something here that is creating that building. At the most, they can come to that conclusion. But beyond that, they don't know what is going, how much of intelligence is needed to create that building. Understanding of materials, understanding of mathematics, understanding of geometry, understanding of the earth, understanding of the elements of the earth. So much goes into creating a simple structure. But all that is beyond the intelligence of an animal. Same way we look at nature. We see that plant has now become a tree. We know something has changed. We know something is happening. Nature is always doing something. Things are being moved around. Things are created, destroyed. So much is happening. And yet, we don't attribute all that to intelligence. We simply call it, it's happening. The plant is growing by itself. The tree is flowering and fruiting by itself. The clouds are moving by themselves. The stars are shining on their own. For us, the whole of nature is inert. She's lifeless. For us, life is something that is restricted to an organism. It is inside, it is trapped. While in reality, it is the very thing that is supporting everything. It is all around us. If a human being is capable of being intelligent, how can that intelligence not be a simple subset of greater intelligence?